YouTube and over to you, Rabbi.
Good morning. Thank you very much for coming and coming together Erev Pesach. We shouldn't take it for granted because we're so busy before Pesach. It's less than, I don't know, my wife doesn't like me when I say less than 2 weeks before Pesach, but this is a reality and we have to face the reality. I apologize for coming late. I had to deal with a few Mechiras Chometz for people who are traveling today abroad. And I would like to speak today a little bit about the Parsha because so much is going on now. We just had Rosh Chodesh yesterday, so it's a new month. The clock changed, a new Sefer Vayikra, and there's something really interesting about Sefer Vayikra because when we talk about Sefer Bereshit, so much is going on. The creation of the world, Avram and Yitzchak and Yaakov and the foremothers, and so much is going on. And then the book of Shmot with the Avdut in Mitzrayim, slavery in Mitzrayim, and then Exodus, Yetziat Mitzrayim, 40 years in the desert, the construction of the Mishkan. And all of a sudden, what happened in the book of Vayikra? Korbanos. It's kind of, when the TVs, the media, they've got like prime time, and what's the opposite of prime time? Maybe. So maybe Vaikra, many people would say that this is not prime time. And one time I was walking on, if you know Bourne Woods, the high street, Shenley Road. I was walking on Shenley Road 2 years ago, and it was one of the first parshiot of Vaikra, Tzav Shmini, and someone said to me, Rabbi, I really feel bad for you. I said, why? He said, what are you going to say in the sermon? There's nothing, all the korbanot, you're going to take about the korban chatas and ola and shlamim, and but the truth is, and this is something, a very beautiful minhag, when children first start to learn Aleph Bet in kindergarten, and if you know the story, it had happened, I mean, it's still happening in England, but mainly in Eastern Europe, but also in Yemen, in North Africa, in all the countries, when children started to learn alphabet, the Rabbi would bring them a board with the letters and honey, and they would lick the letters. And what would be the first thing that Jewish children would start learning? Shema, that they will start the recitation of Shema, but in addition to Shema, Sefer Vayikra. Very good. As the Midrash says, Yavo tehorim v'yasku betaharot. The pure ones, little children who haven't tasted any sin in their lives, will start and learn and occupy themselves in the learning, in the studying of Taharot, of Vayikra, of Korbanot. And it's really important to know that the book Vayikra Hashem el Moshe, Vayomer el Hashem calls to Moshe, and this call Vayikra, as Rav Sachs used to say, and it sounds better in this case. It sounds better in Ivrit. Ma shekoreli, koreli. Whatever calls me is directed to me. Ma shekore, whatever happens to me, calls me. It means that it's a wake-up call for me. And many times we can react to things that happen in our lives in two ways. We can either wait and see just what happens, but on the other hand, we can create the reality. We can change the reality. And every book has got also, every book you open, you will always find also some blank pages at the end of the book. And in these blank pages, this is basically our interpretation, our way to write our own stories. And that resonates with the main concept of Pesach. Vehigadeta lebincha bayom hahu. You should tell your children, because this is not just my own story. We are part of a chain of thousands of years of Jewish education, the Torah that was given from father and mother to their son and daughter. And we have our obligation to pass on, not to pass over, to pass on that tradition from generation to generation. And to do it in the most proactive manner. Rav Kotzk used to say, אני רוצה שהתלמידים שלי לא יחטאו. I want my students, my disciples, my students, not to sin. לא בגלל שאסור לחטוא, not because it's forbidden to sin. בגלל שאני לא רוצה שיהיה להם זמן לחטוא. Because I don't want them to have the time to sin. There are two ways how we can tell ourselves and our children what not to do. One way is to say, don't do that. But how far can we go constantly to say, don't? However, when we direct them to the positive way, so then they will be busy, they will be preoccupied with doing good to the extent, as Rav Kotzk said to his students, they will not have the time even to think about to do the opposite. So how can we prepare for Pesach? Of course, I haven't got any tips for 8 minutes that you can. I haven't found the button that you press and the whole house and everything is prepared for Pesach. But how can we prepare for Pesach? I've got a few bullet points that can maybe help us to prepare for Pesach. Pesach is the first of the 3 food festivals, as we know, Pesach, Shavuot, and Sukkot, and we say in the Tefillah every day during Pesach and during Chol HaMoed. Pesach is Zman Cheruteinu, the time of our freedom. Shavuot is the time, Zman Matan Torateinu, the time of the giving of the Torah, and Sukkot is Zman Simchatenu, the time of our joy. But Pesach, we have got to remember, what are we marking? What is the main principle of Pesach? And the answer is freedom. How can we feel free? How can we feel that we are not doing what we don't want to do? And the opposite, we're doing exactly what we want to do. And I can even enhance the question. How can we feel Zman Simchatenu when we work so hard on cleaning the house, on running, doing all the arrangements? How can we feel that it's Zman Simchatenu after working so hard? So somebody said, of course, after working so hard, of course you're feeling free man after all these weeks of working hard. Which reminds me of a story of someone who went to his Rabbi and he said to him, Rabbi, I've got 7 children and only 1 bedroom. What should I do? It's too crowded. I really need any segula, some sort of financial, miracle to come out of my, it's too crowded. I can't take it anymore. The rabbi said to him, you should bring a cow into your house. A cow into my house? But as you know, you never question a rabbi. By the way, feel free to ask questions. And yeah, a week later, he went to the rabbi and he said, Rabbi, it's now even more difficult. What should I do? He said, now take out the cow. A few days later, he met him and he said, no, Rabbi Yed, how is it going? Ah, wonderful. We've got so much space now without the cow. I really, really feel comfortable. All of us are feeling very comfortable. So maybe that's what Pesach is all about. After working so hard, we can feel that it's Zman Cheruteinu, time of our freedom, and the answer is not. There's Zman Cheruteinu is where we can feel that we can all have the ability to come out of our Meitzarim, of the place where we feel limited, the place where we maybe cannot see how we can fulfill ourselves to do something that we haven't done before. And it's maybe about the best way to recognize, to identify, and to acknowledge the ability to come out of our own Mitzrayim is by paying attention to the other. And there's a story about one of the Rabbonim in Eastern Europe who was approached by a community member, and he said to him, Rabbi, before Pesach is a time to ask questions. And he said, Rabbi, I've got a halachic question about Pesach. He said, yes. Can I fulfill the mitzvah of arba kosot on 4 cups of milk? And the rabbi went immediately to his drawer, and all the money that he had, that he collected, that he raised for Anim, he gave it to him. His wife asked him, why are you doing it? This was supposed to be for many other people. And he said, this is not just a halachic question. Sometimes from the question, from a sentence that somebody says, we can see how much help they need. And sometimes it's not just a financial support. Sometimes it's just a positive attitude. Sometimes it's just the ability to say to someone, good morning, Shabbat Shalom, Chag Sameach, someone who we haven't said before. And trust me, after doing that, you will feel what Yetziat Mitzrayim is. Maybe someone that you haven't been in touch with for a very, very long time. It can be even more difficult than Yetziat Mitzrayim because it's sitting there for a very, very long time. Maybe that's the opportunity to experience your own Yetziat Mitzrayim. And then you will feel free. Cleaning for Pesach. Cleaning for Pesach is not easy, but we've got to remember that dust is not chametz. I haven't found in the Shulchan Aruch or any of the commentaries that dust is not chametz. Yeah, we're talking about kitniot. There are many other types. Kitniot is not chametz as well. We're going to talk about it. But maybe the ability to say that, we need to prepare for Pesach, but not to take it too far. And I've heard from someone one year, and I will never forget it, that sometimes we make a krecht before Pesach. Oh, how much I have to clean, how much I have to sort out. And that person said to me, you should pause in the middle, you should put a comma. You say, how much I have to clean, but stop, how much I have. Just to have the ability to appreciate what we have. If you saw the interview that Eli Sharabi, who was 492 days in the Hamas tunnels, and I've seen some parts of the interview, but one sentence that he said really drew my attention. And he said as follows: when you go next time and you open the fridge and you see a bottle of water, a bottle of water, or you see a red apple in your fridge, don't take it for granted. Be gratitude for what you have. And sometimes there, in the Hamas tunnels, you get the opportunity to recognize, to appreciate, to be grateful for what we have. And this is what Pesach is all about. Yetziat Mitzrayim. Don't say, how much I have to clean. Say, how much I have. Leila Seder is a prime time of the year. And there are many things that we do. We have to cover shopping. We have to do many, many things. But there's one thing that I'm not sure if each and every one of us is doing before Pesach. Maybe to open the Agada. The only thing that we leave for the evening is to open the Agada. And then we go, maybe we should take a moment. We should maybe put a reminder in our phone for the next, in our outlets, in the calendar, for the next 10 days, maybe to designate 30 minutes to look at the Agada, to see where we wash. As usually there's always, 2 Jews, 3 opinions. Are we washing now? Are we standing? Are we sitting? Why won't you take a moment, 30 minutes, to open the Agada in the morning, in the evening, and to go through the Agada and and just prepare ourselves in a better way towards the Seder. There's one thing that, if how much time have we got? About 1 minute. There's one thing that I've come across. Basically, it's a question that I've been asked 2 years ago by a community member, and I would like to. I'm not going to read the whole answer that I gave him, but just to give us a better understanding of Pesach. Hi, Rabbi. I've got a question that I was hoping you can help us with. I am Ashkenazi and my wife is Sephardi. She grew up eating rice on Pesach, which my family custom would never allow. Every Pesach, we have the same discussion. How can it be that one group of Jews can eat rice on Pesach and another group can't? Aren't we all part of the same religion? Isn't it an example of how the Torah can be interpreted in so many ways and there is no one true Judaism? And I've written a long answer, but I think that maybe Pesach is an opportunity for us to observe not the differences, but the similarities. For thousands of years, we eat the same matzah. For thousands of years, we drink 4 cups of wine. And this is our obligation during Pesach, to take Pesach as a day where we remind ourselves and those around us the importance of V'yigadet Levincha, the importance of focusing on the similarities, and to say, yes, we are one people. Yes, we don't look the same. We have sometimes different minhagim, but it doesn't change the reality. And especially now during the war, we see that there is no Ashkenazi and Sephardi, there is no Israelis or Chutznik, there is no such a thing. We learned from the previous year and a half that we are all on the same boats. And Veisha Amdala Avotenu Velanu, and that what stood for us for many, many generations. Shebechol dor vador omdim aleinu lechalotenu. In every generation, they stand up to destroy us. Ve'akadosh baruch hu matzileinu miyadam. And Hashem helps us. May Hashem help us physically and spiritually to celebrate this Pesach, to come out of our Meitzarim, our physical Meitzarim and our spiritual Meitzarim, into freedom, into love, success, in good health and happiness.
Well, thank you very, very much. So I'll say goodbye to those of you on Zoom. We'll see you in 3 weeks' time. Have a nice Pesach, kosher Pesach, and I'll finish off the proceedings here for